Good afternoon. On behalf of the Ivy League Executive Director Robin Harris and her staff, welcome to the media and those in attendance to Ivy Madness. We appreciate your support and coverage of our student athletes, coaches, and programs. Our final team of the day is third-seeded Yale Bulldogs. The Bulldogs come into tomorrow's game against second-seeded Columbia with an overall record of 16-10 and finish the Ivy League regular season with a 9-5 mark. Joining me on the stage is head coach Allison Guth, Camilla Emsbo, and Jenna Clark. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Guth and then move into questions for the student athletes before finishing up with questions for Coach. Coach, please start with the opening statement. Thank you.
We are really jazzed to be here at the Ivy tournament. Our team feels like this is a fantastic opportunity to showcase our talent and what we've been working on to culminate all season. It feels like we've come a long way, team, from March of 2020 when we were excited about coming here last time. And so we feel very fortunate for the opportunity. Such tremendous coaching in this league, such tremendous talent. We're so proud of Ivy League women's basketball and how we showcase that talent on the map. And in particular, we're really, really excited about the matchup that we have with Columbia.
Before starting with questions, again, ask all media members to please state your name and media affiliation before asking your first question. And we'd start with questions for student athletes.
Hey everybody, Jen Hadfield with The Next. Good to see you all. For either of you, Mills or Jenna, can you just talk about kind of what the past week has been like preparing to be here? And just, I know Coach just said you guys are excited to be here, but you guys, what does it feel like, coming here today and being ready to play tomorrow?
Yeah, I can take this. This is actually, there's only one member of our team who's been to Ivy Madness, and that's Alex Cade. So I think a big priority for this week is knowing that we haven't been here, but kind of pretending even that we've all been here before, just in our attitudes, because we've played all these teams, we know all these teams, and we know ourselves by this point. So it's kind of just, taking it all in stride. And doing what we know how to do, and hopefully pulling out a back-to-back.
I love it.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing. Yeah, I think we've just been preparing, just like every other week, though. Like, we always put in the hard work and try to stay consistent throughout the week, but that's been our big thing, is just consistency and staying sharp throughout the week, so we know we can go in and play a tough game tomorrow night.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. For both Camilla and Jenna, you both, on top of team success, you both had a lot of individual success and honors this year. How did the year off help you?
Yeah, I guess the year off was really about personal development for both of us.
Yeah.
Personally for me, I'm a pass-dependent player, and I say that all the time because, my success is completely based off of what Jenna can do for me. And she spent her year off working really, really, really hard. And I think that's paid off for both of us. She's turned into a leader of a program in 1 year, essentially, which is really not an easy thing to do. So yeah, I think the year off was good for both of us. I think we learned a lot about ourselves as players, separately from Yale women's basketball, which I think bringing that back into the team program was really huge for both of us. And I think, just our whole team working with that year off, half of us were on campus, half of us were off campus. So in a time that we couldn't really be together and get our arms around each other, it was really a lot about, that personal growth and development.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Besides just putting in the work on the court, with basketball skill work, shooting, everything like that, I think mentally kind of going through who I was as a basketball player, how I could make the team better was a big thing as well. Because coming in this year, I knew I had an opportunity to kind of fill a role and play a much bigger part on the team. And, you have to, of course, you have to do it on the basketball court, but you also have to have the mental capability to do it. So I think that was a big thing as well.
Jenna, since Mills won't talk about herself, what did she
let me talk about her.
What did she do during?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe played for the Danish national team. I don't know, something like that. She's awesome. I know she put in a lot of work. She's gotten real strong. She's killing a lot of people in the weight room now. But yeah, of course, she improved her game just as much as anyone else. She's the best. Everyone knows that. But like she said, she's dependent on me, but I'm dependent on her. If I didn't have her, don't know what I would do. But yeah, she's awesome.
Thank you, Jenna.
The classic.
I'm just curious with the tournament format and the Yale men being here as well. Is that something that you guys like feed off of? Does that give you extra energy? Are you kind of blocking that out? And as far as you're concerned, this is a women's only event.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to take it first and then send it to Mills and Jenna. We are so proud of our men's program and the success that they've had. Coach Jones is a dear colleague and friend of mine. I don't think I'd be at Yale without him and his mentorship. And this sisterhood and this brotherhood is very special. And so to be able to honor the success they've had, we've been in the stands supporting them. And so to be at this together and celebrating each other's success is phenomenal. But to answer your question, Jen, we're really focused on what our jobs are here and how much we want to enjoy the moment. We're so process driven, but we've been talking about what is important to us is we call it WIN, and it's like it really stands an acronym for what's important now. And so what's important now for us, that's Yale Women's Hoops taking care of business when we step out on the floor for our shoot around, and that's Yale taking care of Columbia tomorrow night.
One thing I will add to that question, though, is I think Yale is used to the Yale men being at this tournament. And in a lot of ways, that's become very apparent in kind of the response that the Yale programs have gotten to, or have had to us making this tournament. So I think it's really important that the Yale women's team gets, kind of equal coverage, and that we prove to Yale that we belong here also, and that, we came to play basketball as well. So I think while we do really, really support the men's program, we've been at every single game that we can make, which is very few given our schedules. But we're huge supporters of them. We know they're huge supporters of us, but we really are here to kind of make our name known as a separate program from them.
I did not mean that to be a loaded question.
It's the little backstory that makes it loaded, not you.
That's funny.
You all had two really close games against Columbia. What have you learned from that to change the outcome tomorrow night?
I think a big thing that we're focusing on this time around is trying to limit them in transition, and we know that a lot of that stems from how we play, which is just limiting turnovers, taking good shots, just playing smart basketball overall. I think is going to be huge for us, and you could kind of see it in the last two games. Like, we had moments where we were playing smart basketball, but it wasn't a full 40 minutes, and we kind of beat ourselves in moments. So just kind of focusing on that, I think, is going to be pretty big for us.
Yeah, and we have a lot of respect for Columbia. I think they have a lot of great players. But I think we are a really great matchup for them.
Yeah.
I think, from 1 through 5, we have players who can guard them and also players who can take it to them on the attack. So I think, it's a really exciting matchup. It's awesome to have a third chance at them. That doesn't come around all the time. So I think we're going to really, take it to our advantage, get excited about it.
I would just add that we pride ourselves a lot on the defensive end. We're obviously second in the league with holding teams to around 56, only to be outwon by Princeton in that category, who's a great defensive team as well. And so I think when you're going up against a really skilled offensive team, there's multiple threats on the floor tomorrow. What's exciting is that these guys feel really confident in how we defend as a unit together, as a team. So we really believe in what we can do on the defensive end. I think this game is going to come down to just what Jenna Clark said about us controlling tempo offensively. We really think Columbia runs very well, and that running game is something that we've always prided ourselves in transition, but it has to be controlled for us to be in a great position in this game. So we think that would be the only thing I would add on the defensive end.
Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Camilla, all of us who've watched Allison over the last number of years that she's been at Yale have seen from the outside some of her coaching style and games and some of the charisma and so on. And for you as a player working with her every day, what's she like?
I honestly can say that what you guys see is what we get every day. I think she comes in to practice with so much energy every day. Some days we're like, where is she getting all that from? Because we would like some too. And so much positivity. And that charisma is not a show. I think that really translates every day to the court. And it's something that's really special and something that I think our team tries to emulate every day in the way that we treat each other, in the way that we talk to ourselves. So yeah, all I would say is that what you see is what you get, and we're really lucky. I've been really lucky the past 3 years to have her as my coach. So
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. I mean, the spark.
yeah,
Yeah,
the spark.
yeah. She's always super energetic and always willing to kind of stay with us, do whatever we need, watch film. Whatever you need from her, she's there, and that's also like not just basketball; it's personal as well. So I think that aspect kind of helps us a lot as basketball players, knowing that you always have her if you need anything outside of the game. So yeah, that's definitely not a bonus.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, I'll let you guys go first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys want to walk down the
Thanks.
stairs this way?
Oh yeah.
Some wires.
Just jump
Good.
off.
You're
here,
stuck.
yeah,
Up the
don't-
wires.
Good.
All right, really smooth exit. Going for it, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We left our stuff over here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Give them a second, we'll open it for you. Thanks, guys. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you guys down there.
Questions for Coach?
Hey, Allison.
Hi,
It's
how
been a
are
while.
you? It's been a while. It's so great to see you.
See you too.
Okay.
What do you make of
Oh yeah.
looking at 1 to 4 in the women's standings? There are some big gaps from 1 to 2, 2 to 3,
Yeah.
3 to 4. What do you make of that and how that might play out this weekend?
I think Carla and her staff have done a tremendous job, and those Princeton Tigers are playing at the highest level they've played all season. And I think to break into the top 25 is most well-deserved, and I think it's the tenacity in which they defend, and it's the consistency in which they execute on the offensive end. I think when you kind of break down 1 through 4, and you're talking about a national scope and ranking system, you're seeing Princeton really shine in that way. I really truly think you've got Kathy Delaney-Smith, who's an absolute legend, and you've got her team playing passionately for her. So talented. When you talk about the Rookie of the Year, you talk about Forbes entering with the transfer from Cal, and you talk about what that team can do on their home floor. You've got a story with that, with how well they play here. And I think Harvard's proven they can beat anyone on any night. And so when you go 1 to 4, anything can happen. There's a bit of magic in March that we all know, in madness. So I see that. Then I see what Meg Griffith, her staff, have done, and those tremendous athletes at Columbia. They've really proved they really have played everyone really tough. Not only beating everybody but Princeton, but I think that they have capabilities in scoring and putting up a lot of numbers. You saw that in the last game they played Princeton at home, their third quarter, going on an 11-2 to run. That was really exciting for them. So I think as much as there is what you said, kind of looking at the 1 through 4 on a national scope right now, I actually feel, especially when I look at our matchup tomorrow against Columbia, I just look at one game where I felt we had a really good half at Columbia. We didn't play consistently in the second half, and that caught us off guard. And I think that they really earned the win at our place. So there was pieces of me that felt like we cannot be our own opponent tomorrow night. I feel like when Yale's playing its best and when we're at our best, we can beat anyone in the league. And so I think it's going to be a really exciting tournament.
Hey, Coach, good to see you.
Great to see you, Jen.
I think it was Mills who mentioned Alex Cade as the only one with tournament experience. I know she's been big for you guys all season, kind of behind the scenes, maybe not the person who's standing out every night on the stat sheet, but can you talk a little bit about her impact on the team this season, and then also what you're hoping she will bring kind of as a leader in this tournament specifically?
I'm really glad you brought her up, Jen. Alex Cade, to me, she has a motor that is unmatched, and she plays with a grit and a toughness about her. We call her the heart of our team because that decision to take a leave of absence, we're sitting here in this tournament in a different place than then Columbia, then Princeton, and then Harvard, because 2 of our starters and 2 of the kids that had about, I would say, 50% of our scoring went on to law school, right, and didn't come back for their taking a leave of absence and coming back. And so that's what opened up opportunity for these student athletes to be young and playing in these positions. But Alex Cade chose to leave, take that leave of absence because she wanted that year back to lead this team, and she wanted this opportunity to get back to this tournament. And so I think you're seeing a kid who plays with a lot of heart, a lot of toughness, grit. Where she shows up most for us, which you already know, is on the glass and on her defensive side, where she is a real tough kid to go up against. Offensively, I think that it provides a mismatch issue, especially when they've started Columbia, Jada Patrick, when she is on her. That's a mismatch issue that we want to look at from an offensive standpoint. What I find that the league has done tremendously well is how they defend her and help in on Mills. So her activity off the ball is really important. Her getting herself open and creating other opportunities to create some gravity of what that defense does is really important. So I think she knows specifically what her role is, and I think we all understand in this room right here, experience is often what wins out. And so the fact that she's been to one of these as a first year when it was hosted at the Palestra, I think that she's a little bit aware of what this environment and this survive and advance, mentality is in a tournament setting. She's also the only kid who's gone and won a postseason championship with us in that setting as well. So she kind of knows the one and done mentality. And I'll tell you, Alex Cade wants to be here on Sunday, cheering on her men after winning a championship.
Noticeable the players' demeanor, the behavior, very relaxed, loose. Is that reminiscent of the WBI championship team? And how do you feel like that will help for tomorrow and for the whole weekend?
I love that you told me that they're loose. I don't feel that, but I love that you just told me. I honestly think, it's helpful. I think your team assumes the identity of their leader. And I think it's really important, since we haven't been here before for a majority of our team, as a coaching staff, that we try to prepare them in every way for what it's going to feel like and what it's going to be like. And I need them to know, it's okay. You can't see under these masks right now, but they're smiling and enjoying this moment. They worked really hard to get here. And so they're coming in here so proud about the opportunity, but knowing we haven't earned anything yet. And so I think there's a hungry yet very humble mentality about ourselves, and wanting to control our own destiny. And so I think that piece, when we met even before getting on the bus, and what that bus was going to feel like, and then what it was going to feel like coming over here, because we don't have media at every shoot around. We don't have you guys all the time here asking questions, and how that was going to feel and how special it is. But really, what makes a champion is being able to focus on what's important in the moment now. And so I think we're very young and youthful, but we're learning what that looks like and feels like. And maybe that's what you're sensing out of our team.
On the subject of young players, one who I know hasn't gotten a ton of playing time this year, but in a national spotlight, I'm sure the cameras might find her this weekend, is Grace Thibault. What should, especially folks in my neck of the woods who know one of her relatives pretty well,
Yes.
What should they know about her?
You need to know that Grace Thibault is unbelievably talented and skilled as a post player. Not only her footwork, her vision, her ability to score at the rim. She's a tremendous passing post as well. But I think what makes Grace Thibault even more special is that she's committed to the process. To have a first year as talented as her come in and want to come to Yale, not only because she wanted to win an Ivy championship here, but she wanted to learn from Camilla Emsbo, because she thought that player would help develop her and make her better. You have somebody who is absolutely selfless, and a kid that is playing behind one of the best posts in the country. And so when she gets those limited minutes, her attitude, her focus, her consistency at which she comes to practice every day to really be ready when her name is called. That's what I think I want you to know most about Grace Thibault. Her character, who she is as a human, it's the reason why tradition never graduates and why Yale's going to be good for many, many years, is because she's going to be filling those shoes with Camilla Emspo when Camilla graduates. And I should say, I'd love for this weekend to be great for her as well. You asked me about this weekend. She'll be a main contributor as well.
Coach, we talked to Meg Griffith earlier, and she was talking, as she has done kind of throughout the season, about Caitlin Davis and how she's kind of a unicorn, does things that other players simply can't do. How do you guard a player like that who is kind of a walking mismatch for any team?
Jen, I love talking about Katie. Really, really close with her and her family. Really wanted her in another jersey this weekend, all right? Really think she found her best fit with Meg and at Columbia, and what a tremendous human being and tremendous kid doing great things. And the unicorn quote that Meg gave, that she's with her every day, but I felt like recruiting her, that's exactly what I felt about her, untapped potential and what she could be. When you ask how we guard her, if you evaluate those first 2 games we played, we did a pretty darn good job. And I say that there's an understanding of where you have to play her on the floor and how you have to have awareness away from where she is on the floor in order to really provide some type of pressure when she catches the ball. What I find really something that keeps me up at night is how Katie's really working away and from beyond the arc a little better and differently recently. You saw her hit some big threes even against Princeton, where up till this point she's been really, really effective mid-range at the rim. She has a spin move that is almost unguardable because the way she creates the space and how she finishes in the air. But I think, in my opinion, we have one of the best defensive players in the league in Camilla Emspo, who provides length and athleticism on a player like that. But I think a lot of times coaches get too caught up on the matchup, and I think it's got to be how the team understands the talent of the floor and where Columbia's scoring. When you ask about KD, I think what creates opportunities for KD is some darn good perimeter players. Having an Abby Shue convert the way she can, having Rivera be the type of point guard who, if she touches the paint, bad things are happening. They really have created a system that really makes it hard to pick your poison. And so that's credit to the Columbia staff and the talented players.
We have time for one more question.
Coach, when you win tomorrow night, that's 9:30 at night, quick turnaround for Princeton. How do you and the team handle that situation?
Is there even a clock in March? I don't even know. My wife and I, we just had our second son on January 12th, and our little guy, I don't think he sleeps more than an hour and a half maybe, or 2 hours at a time. And so I don't even know what sleep is. I don't even think our kids know. I think we would be so jazzed about the opportunity in the championship game that we would be so process driven. We'd get, obviously, a nice little post-game meal, go right back, get off our feet, rest, and then prepare for a really tough Princeton that we've been preparing for all week, or a very tough Harvard we've been preparing for all week. And so I think at this point, you really have to trust your training, and we know these guys both really well, Harvard or Princeton. If we come to that standpoint, we'd get a good shoot around in and come back here at 5 ready to go.